That Sony State of Play, man. What an incredible show. We're going to gush about it. We're going to talk about all the games here. But it also kind of sheds a light on Nintendo. What are you doing? Sony is just showing you up right now. But the ball's in their court. There's a lot of room for improvement on Nintendo's hands. Let's get into it. Let's talk about it.
21 slapping ass, exciting new titles. And right out the gate, they kicked it off with a sequel to Kena.
Kena Bridge of Spirits. Great game.
That game always looked like a Pixar movie, the game.
Ember Labs, unbelievable job.
Yeah, it looks awesome.
Absolutely gorgeous.
I never got around to playing it. I always wanted to. But it was one of those things where it was a launch title. I didn't jump on the PS5 train till like way later.
There you go.
Yeah! But like I thought it looked cool, but it didn't look like super fleshed out or like a really fully developed game. But with this one looks like way more fleshed out. This looks like a full ass game. Combat's been enhanced, expanding the combat depth and adding some strategy to it. So like this one actually piqued my interest more than the original game. And now I'm like, ooh, do I need to play the first one or can I just jump in?
Because that's the secret sauce of the first one is the combat. Combat's great. Yeah. And the boss fights are incredible and tough as do not let this Pixar-esque vibe of the game fool you. Like the boss fights in Kena are hard as nails.
Interesting.
They really are, dude. Some of them I died 15 to 20 times on. Low-hanging fruit to say, I know, but this is like a Dark Souls boss.
Sure.
Where I am getting tighter and tighter at parry times, or they do include environmental elements to the boss fights too. So it's a tiny pinch of like Zelda vibe in there, you know?
Cool.
What a way to start the show, I think.
Ghost of Yotei is coming out with Legends.
We got the Legends.
Free update, adding multiplayer.
People were wondering if we were going to get this for Yotei because we got it with Tsushima.
Oh, okay.
And it was also for free.
Word.
And it just looks...
Did you play the Tsushima
Legends?
version?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
And it was great.
Yeah.
And in this one, you fight these, for lack of better words, gangsters of this one affiliate, the Yotei 6. Picture your Kill Bill scenario, you know? Each of them have a quirk.
Sure.
But they're demonized, so it's going to be very, very cool. They're not just people who don't have these fantastical powers. Yeah, Legends is going to be rad.
Resident Evil 9, which
I mostly put my blinders on as well for.
I'm also in the same spot with Resident Evil 9 where it's like I've seen enough and like let me play the game.
But did you see the one shot though that I happen to lower the blinders for?
What's that?
I'm wondering if I should bring it up because if you also skip
I watched the whole trailer.
The part where Leon once again opens the door to the police station.
Yeah.
What a
wild.
What a tug, man. What a tug at this old heartstring.
And now it's honestly looking like more Leon gameplay. Yeah, it seemed like the gameplay was all focused around Grace and like she was the main character. But the more I see, it seems like Leon's more who you play as. And it could totally be like the classic, Resident Evil 2 style of like you play as two characters equally, which hell yeah, let's go.
Yeah.
But it almost seems like more it's Leon's the main character now, which of course I'm excited for. Like, love Leon. It's the greatest. Would love to see Jill come back. Where the hell is Jill at?
Jill deserves her own
new
game.
She does.
Yeah.
But yeah, so like I'm even more interested in it. It's like where this going. Leon looks all gruff and like
he looks
weathered now.
Yeah. He's seen some shit, dude.
For sure. And I'm really hoping they don't like kill him off in this game or something. Because I know they've kind of mentioned this will be his last Resident Evil or something. And I'm really hoping it's not because he's going to do some like noble sacrifice. They do show his hand
and it looks like he is infected.
Got something going on.
He's got something, yeah.
But I mean, we've also seen other characters like take on stuff and not die.
But he was also infected in 4.
That's true.
So,
and he got the cure, right?
He's no stranger to it.
Yeah, so you could totally find another cure in this game or whatnot, or it could lead to more story in future games.
I'm going to come back from vacation and just immediately have something to look forward to.
Yeah.
Doesn't happen a lot, but...
And then we got a bit more Pragmata.
Which is also another one. I'm basically throwing the blinders up for this one at this point now, too.
Yeah, I also still don't really know what to expect from that game.
And I like it. that way.
but it looks cool.
It's also giving me Stellar Blade vibes.
Stellar Blade and BioShock for sure. Well, a little bit of Last of Us sprinkled on there,
Yeah,
or whatever.
yeah,
but
yeah.
I'm also really curious about the main character himself.
Hugh?
Like, is he human? Because you never see him.
Well, you do. You see
And
him
he-
without the helmet on.
Oh, do you?
And his name's Hugh. Yeah.
Okay, all right. I haven't seen those trailers then. 'Cause I
Well,
just
I
always
mean,
see
there
him in
is a.
that.
She obviously looks human.
Right, but
So
she But I don't
he
think she
might
is,
not
right?
be. No, she's like a synthetic
Right.
AI robot thing.
yeah.
But there is a chance that he might also,
Also be right.
one.
Yeah, just like that helmet is weird to me because there isn't really any visor. Like how you see out of it. It's kind of
One way-
weird.
one way glass,
So
baby.
it made me think like maybe something was going on there.
But no, they have shown his face.
We got more information on Legacy of Kain, the Defiance remaster.
Yeah.
Which is cool. Again, like I got my fill back in like 1999 of Legacy of Kain and stuff. The games
Same.
were cool, but I didn't think they were like all that great back in
Yeah.
1999.
I put him in
so-
the same category as Medieval 1 and 2, which
yeah,
is cool.
Which are cool, but
But,
like I
like-
don't want to play them again now.
Yeah,
So
I'm cool.
Yeah, so it's like I'm good, but I do think they're adding a lot of cool features to it, like being able to swap the skins of the characters are really cool.
Skins, the new
They added the like 3D camera, so
yeah.
you can like see
art
bit
book
better.
thing, digital art book thing, and previously unreleased levels or areas.
yeah. Well, they also included a demo of the canceled sequel.
Yeah.
To the game that never came around, which is kind of cool to see too if you're a big fan. Then we got a brand new entry in the Brigandine series, which like goes back to like PS1 1998 days. The last game they did release one in 2020, like not too long ago. But again, not a title I expected to see again. And this one has the supervisor that worked on Fire Emblem Path of Radiance on this game. So great. That's great news. Great to hear. It's a Fire Emblem type tactics game that's on like hex squares and stuff like that. Looks great.
Yeah, I didn't know much about this franchise.
I didn't either, to be honest. I missed it back in 1998.
Same.
And I missed it in 2020. And
Same.
It's here now, and I'm not going to say I won't miss it again, but it looks cool.
Yeah, it looks cool for sure.
Yeah, it's nice to see tactic games still going strong and coming out with more stuff that isn't just Fire Emblem. Dead or Alive 6.
It's the fresh Dead or
It's-
Alive 6.
Yeah, I mean, Dead or Alive 5 came out in 2012. That was another series that I thought was dead and like not coming back, and then here it is.
They
Alive
wasted
and
no
well, so-
time letting you know breast physics are in full swing, baby.
Well, that's what Dead or Alive's all about. I'm sure there'll be a volleyball mode and all that good stuff as
yeah.
there always is.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just cool to see that come back swinging and whatnot. Control Resonant.
That was for Andy.
I
thought
Andy
about
for sure.
Andy
I'd love to
100%
get his
during that
like
whole
thoughts
thing.
on it, but like those Alan Wake fans and Control fans, it's definitely a big announcement. It looks wild as hell.
does
It's
look
got
wild.
like
Yeah.
Gravity Rush aspects to it, where like you're jumping on walls and the camera shifts, and now that's your plane of ground.
Yeah, it looked cool. It's just
Research thinks we might have a resonant on our
it looked
I mean-
so unreal and cool and stylish, but somehow I don't know how to explain it other than it also just looked like such a nothing burger.
Well, so this is the thing with those like big open world games and stuff, is that like it looks massive and big and expansive, but like of what, So it's like, you're in the city, and it's like, it's a city, and then there's like some enemies to fight. So it's like, what really are we doing? But we've also seen games like Spider-Man where it's like it's a whole big ass city and there's tons to do. So I don't know, it could go either way.
Yeah, it just looked like very
They didn't show much. Yeah, it was
very derivative, just like Devil May Cry kind of combat.
definitely Devil May Cry combat for sure. Like I said, not for me, because I wasn't a big fan of Control when I played it. But
Same.
But I know that's they're on their like fourth game now, so like I'm sure that's an exciting announcement for those fans.
For sure.
So here's one I'm very interested in your opinion on: Crimson Moon. Now, it's blatantly Dark Souls, right? It's just Dark Souls.
Yes.
And it's not the first or last game that's gonna just blatantly copy and rip off Dark Souls.
No.
But the twist or appeal to Crimson Moon is that it's 2-player. So
Yeah.
I don't know if even that is much different than Dark Souls.
It is,
But
because you can only summon people in to help you for boss fights, basically.
oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. So this is So this I thought was cool that it's just 2-player Dark Souls.
Yeah.
And, just like you would grab a friend to play a beat 'em up, but it's Dark Souls. And like what does misery love but company? Right? So I think it's
Did you make that up?
but I think it's a perfect recipe for Dark Souls to have a companion to suffer with you. Right?
Stop.
But yeah,
we know how you feel about that series.
Yeah. But
That's not to say that I like blatant copies of Dark Souls or Elden Ring or
Sure.
Bloodborne.
Sure. But I was curious on what your reaction was. Like, did you roll your eyes like, oh, Dark Souls? Or were you like, oh, 2-player Dark Souls? Fun.
I mostly rolled my eyes,
Yeah.
but it was very nice to look at.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful
As all
looking game.
PS5 games are.
Yeah, sure. I'd play this one if it was made incredibly easy to get my hands on. A la, got a free copy? Or someone had a physical copy and let me borrow it. I don't think I'm rushing out to get in line to buy this day one.
Makes sense.
That's how I feel about it.
What if I was like, I want to play Dark Souls with you?
I'd probably test it first and then just make you play Bloodborne instead.
All right, fair enough.
I don't know.
Then they threw at us Beast of Reincarnation. Game Freak.
The Pokemon company.
Yeah. Which I had no idea they would ever do anything that wasn't Pokemon.
Same.
But they came out. This game looks beautiful.
It does.
Came out swinging.
It's
so they must have been cooking this for a
completely
while. Yeah, totally, like different game style and completely. And like this one like grabbed me right away because it straight up just looks like Stellar Blade. I'm gonna say that
It does.
It's Stellar Blade.
Absolutely.
And it even looks like a little bit. They drew a little bit from Nier. Like the guy that's wearing like the poncho with the staff.
Oh yeah,
Like really,
I see it.
Yeah, he really
Yeah.
reminded me of Emil, and he's fighting like a robot or something, which is
Yeah.
Nier is all about fighting the androids and stuff like that. But
This cannot continue.
but like even right down to the music, the soundtrack is beautiful and very like Stellar Blade and Nier. So it looks like Stellar Blade with a dog, and that's literally. They didn't even have to show me a trailer. If they had just put up the words like Beast and Reincarnation, Stellar Blade with a dog, 2026, I would have pre-ordered it. Like that's all I needed to hear.
And with that, courts, I yield back my time.
But like that game looks awesome.
It does.
It looks fantastic.
So I'm texting you guys at this point because I was the first one home from work that day. I'm texting the group chat. I'm just like, yo, strong start,
Yeah.
boys. This is good stuff. I had no idea what we were in for with this thing. I'm going to go ahead and say it. This was the best game showcase.
It just
not
kept
even just
feet-
from Sony, just
Yeah.
the best game showcase ever.
It just kept feeding. They were just like, "Oh, you like that? You want some more?
Yeah.
Dude, you want some more?
And it
Hey,
was-
check this out."
And it was fucking long too. It was like
it was
an
a bit
hour and
longer
15
than I would
minutes.
like. It went on and on, but like it didn't stop.
It didn't
delivering.
stop, dude.
You know,
Yeah.
usually there's a lull that I can skip, or
Yeah.
like 'cause I always like to watch it like just after it like goes up, so that I
you
can just
can?
kind of fast forward and be
Sure.
like, "Oh, I don't care about farm games." But this one, I was just like inching along, like, "Oh no, I want to watch that. Oh, what's that?" Yo, and then they threw out 30th anniversary edition of Rayman.
I did not see this coming.
I didn't either. But
Yeah.
like it's such a cooler package than just like your typical like, oh, anniversary re-release kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like this comes with multiple versions of the game that were like put
Mm-hmm.
out over time. So you can switch between the different like ports of Rayman.
Yeah, PSP, PS1.
Yep.
So sick.
On top of that, it's got an additional 120 levels just from different bonus packs that were released for those versions over time. It's got an unreleased prototype of like when they were designing Rayman. when they were designing Rayman, it, essentially just a prototype and stuff that you get to kind of just like fumble around and play with and just see like how the game came to fruition, which is
Yeah.
kind of just cool in its own right, along with like novel style like documentary piece about like Rayman and the development, which is also just cool artistically to watch.
You remember when Ubisoft used to be good?
And then like what is much needed is just like the enhanced gameplay settings.
Yeah, like more
infinite lives
checkpoints.
and checkpoints, and just
Yeah.
like because like Rayman is brutal. If
Rayman
you've played
is
it,
brutal, and not due to difficulty. It's brutal due to clunk.
It's a
Mostly.
mixture. It's that, and the levels are long.
Yeah.
So it's like it turns into endurance more than difficulty.
Sure.
Which is difficulty in its own.
Yeah.
Right. But yeah, like I remember pounding the PS1 game,
Mm-hmm.
and thinking I was getting far and getting not far, and like just like there was always. I just remember there always being a struggle of like how many lives like we
Yeah.
had left. Playing that game, so
Yeah,
like
yeah.
just seeing that kind of you can just flip on the settings and like not have to worry about that kind of stuff anymore.
Maybe I could
Is
actually
sick.
beat Rayman.
Yeah, like
because I
maybe I
always
can
get as far as like
experience
the
the further
music.
le-
world.
Yes.
Yeah, the
Yes.
music world always got me.
Yes,
Those spiky fucking boys when you're like traversing the snare drums. Oh man.
yeah, that, and when you had to start doing the really fast like piano slides, and
Yeah,
you just
yeah,
start
yeah.
zipping, dude, be going way too fast to start like reacting and dodging and shit. Like it was like the Donkey Kong minecart level, just like cranked to 11. Wild, but yeah, so. That actually excited me a lot just to see like all the history and different like extra stuff of Rayman I haven't experienced.
Yeah.
And then also just like maybe I'll get to play more of the game that I haven't gotten to play
Same.
because I just couldn't get
Same,
there.
yeah.
So that one I was like surprised, and then also surprised at how excited I was.
Yeah. Yeah.
Very cool.
Very pleasant surprise.
Now here's one
Mina the Hollower is an
that I wasn't
adventure
surprised.
from the
Well, I
creators
was surprised in a different way.
Okay.
Take control of
Mina the Hollower again.
Oh yes, dude.
What's going on?
I could have sworn.
They're going to release another demo, and then they're giving us another TBD spring 2026.
I'm happy to see any sort of semblance of a date.
It's
though.
just weird though, because they were ready to go on Halloween, October 31st, 2025 was the date. They dropped us a demo. They were like, game comes out on the 31st. Then they canceled it. Heard nothing from them for months.
Yeah.
Now we're in February, and they're like, all right, it's going to be spring, no date, and here's another demo? What do I need another demo for?
I'm stoked for this though.
Yeah?
Because my first,
and hunt down secrets.
I was speculating that Nintendo had a monopoly on them because it was only on the Switch too, the first demo that
Oh,
is.
true, yeah.
So that they
Limited time demo will be exclusively available.
were holding off all info for the next release date for the next big Nintendo Direct. And when this came on for Sony, that was a big surprise right there. But that confirms to me in a weird way that it's not Nintendo having a stranglehold on them, that they truly are just cooking that much more, which is why they needed this delay.
Yeah, maybe.
Which makes me happy because it's going to be that much better when we get it.
Sure, yeah, I have no problem with them taking more time and like, perfecting the game to like their satisfaction. That's great. Do your thing. I think it was just the additional demo that surprised me. I'm like, why are you releasing another demo just a few months later? And then still just giving us a vague spring date,
Fair. I don't know, because like if
'Cause, like,
anyone like me, I
like-
totally missed the opportunity to play the Switch 2 demo.
Yeah.
Because I was just busy, you know what I mean? They only had it up for like 4 days.
Yeah, but the other weird thing about spring is that like we're in February.
Yeah.
Spring is just March, April.
Demo will be exclusively
In May.
A little bit of May, I guess. You
And
could
most of
consider
June.
spring. June is not spring.
June 21st is the summer solstice, my friend.
Come on, nobody considers June spring.
But it technically, like,
I guess
on
maybe
a
technically.
business,
All right, on a business calendar, I guess it's spring. But that, for me, I'm like March, April. But it's like if you're releasing in March, April, or even May, you got to know the date already.
they can do whatever they do.
Well, I
Yacht
guess-
Club,
I guess
Yacht
it's-
Club can do
It's
whatever
true.
they
But I guess
want.
it's only digital, right? It's not.
Maybe,
they're not
yeah.
pressing the game.
Yacht
That's
Club
what I
is
was-
like the rock star of pixel indie games.
No, they're
They can do
fantastic.
whatever the fuck they
I was
want.
more in the mindset of like pressing physical games, which they're not. So that I can just detract what I said because or retract what I said because I was thinking like it takes months for production. So it's like you gotta already, if you're releasing in the spring, you have to already know when it's coming out. But it's digital, so they could just drop it whenever the fuck they want to drop it.
Yeah,
So
if it's just going to be digital, at least to start. I mean, look what they did with Silk Song. They announced and it was 2 weeks later that the game was coming out.
Right, again, because it's digital.
Yeah.
So like,
Right,
yeah.
yeah.
So it's definitely you don't need to allow yourself as much time as you do when you're pressing physical games. So, like I said, retract what I said. They can do whatever the hell they want. But yeah, it was just like, what the hell is going on with Mina? I can't wait to play it. I did like, no matter what happens, I'm buying the game.
Yeah.
I was just like, what? Another demo? Here's another game. Super surprised to see and super excited about.
Are you gonna talk about John Wick?
No. but yeah. I was actually going towards Yako, the Shinobi Ops game.
Yeah, dude.
The multiplayer Tenchu. Like after
Yeah.
all these years, we're finally. I've been talking about how we haven't had a Tenchu game since
Same.
for like decades, and now like finally they're delivering straight up Tenchu.
Yeah.
And it's 4-player co-op.
Dude, I looked at the
That's
screen and I was
sick
just
as
like,
hell.
yo, that's fucking Ricky. Look at it. There he is with his
Yeah.
gray hair right on
Yeah.
the screen. It
And
looks so good.
And it's the acquired team. It's the Tenchu.
yeah.
But yeah.
Looked like there were a few elements from like, say, a Splinter Cell where, you can see the light cone.
Yeah, super
Yeah,
cool.
visibility kinda thing.
And that's just adds an awesome layer of just like having to be aware of your surroundings and like 'cause you can only see what you can see.
Mm-hmm.
And you're just gonna constantly be like, making sure you got everything covered and there's not somebody in the shadows that you don't know about.
Yeah.
But then also just the element of like teaming up with your friends to be like, all right, like you go deal with this area and then meet me over here kind of thing. Like there's so much potential in
Yeah.
that. Tenchu's back, baby.
But yeah, John Wick looked amazing, right?
Dude, John Wick.
It,
Yeah,
it looked straight out of a movie.
I mean, the
bet-
cutscenes for
yeah.
sure were just like
Straight out of a
Keanu
movie.
Reeves.
I bet you someone's already like put up a side-by-side comparison of the shot-for-shot thing
Yeah.
here and there.
Yeah, and I didn't expect to get like a fully fleshed out John Wick because they've released a John Wick game already, and I kind of thought that was it. Like, was it part of like Sifu, or was it its own thing? It was like a Sifu style game, I think.
I don't know anything about this.
Oh no, there's some other John Wick game out there. I'm pretty sure. Let's talk about Project Wingless.
Sure.
Holy shit, dude. That's wild.
Can I get some ranch while we talk about it?
So that one fascinated me because it's like God of War meets Dynasty Warriors.
Yeah. That's a good way to put it, bud.
And that is you're just one giant hulking warrior just wiping out hordes and hordes of, army soldiers and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But also you're a giant chicken. Which I thought was like, what the hell?
What's that cartoon chicken's name? The guy that's like, say nah, say nah, say.
Foghorn Leghorn.
Yeah. Dude, so you play as Foghorn Leghorn,
Yeah.
Dynasty Warriors God of War.
So initially I was like, what the hell is this? And like, why did they decide Chicken Warrior? But it turns out that the game is actually based on the Korean novel, The Bird That Drinks Tears. And that
Yeah.
so that book is about like 4 races, like humans, Rokon, which are giant chicken warriors, the Tokebi, and then the Naga, which are like reptilian creatures and stuff. So it's
Yeah.
about like these different races. So they took that premise, but then this game is actually set thousands of years before that story. So it's like they're really just using, I guess, the different tribes.
Sure.
And you play as one of the Rokon. which
Foghorn
is
Leghorn.
giant chicken warrior. Yeah. So it's like set in that universe. I don't know how deep they'll go into like lore or narrative on this, or if it'll just be absolute carnage like Dynasty Warriors is. But I thought it was an interesting spin. It's cool to see like some new life breathed into that Dynasty Warriors style, because I feel like that has just gotten so stale, from like Dynasty Warriors to Samurai Warriors to even
Hyrule
I was gonna say
Warriors.
even like the spin-offs like Hyrule and Fire Emblem
Yeah.
Warriors and stuff like that. It's just like, how much more can we do?
I know.
But this one looks like a time.
Yeah.
Especially just with just how much bigger he is than the hordes and like how much more brutal the combat is and stuff like that. And it looks like there's a bit of narrative going on. It's an interesting one for sure.
Yeah, it definitely looks interesting. And the thing just kept going.
Yeah,
the showcase kept
we're not even
going.
we're like halfway. Then they rolled out Star Wars Galactic Racer,
which looked so sick.
Dude, bringing it back to the pods. Dude.
I thought I couldn't care less about like another Star Wars game.
Like spin-off game.
Yeah. But because when they first showed it off, I was like, oh, is this going to be the third game in the Cal universe?
Sure.
And I was like, oh, this will be cool. Let's see. But like not really giving my full attention to it. Nah, dude, this game looks sick.
Yeah. It's like a narrative racer through and through. It bring me back. Whoa.
It really did bring you back, huh? Damn.
But it like brought me back to like the N64 era when you had like the pod racer game and like episode 1 came out and stuff like that. And just to like bring it back to pod racing and build the whole game around that, I think is so sick.
It's so sick.
Because it's just such a small element, but like racing, I love racing games. And I love arcade racing more than I love the sim games. There's just something to it of like, it's just got some more spice and flair to it. And like, what's got more flair than pod racers, dude? They're ridiculous.
Not much.
So like, so like I was here for it. And like, I'm just curious, like if it's going to be like a solo campaign game, or like, can I play this with my friends? Will it have multiple modes of like,
I was going to say
we
maybe
can do
both.
like, we can do like, Grand Prix races with your friends, and then you can do story mode kind of thing. Like, that's what I would like to see. I would be kind of bummed if it was just a solo, like, Need for Speed game. Like, I would like to see a story mode and just party with your friends, like, in pod racers.
I feel
that would be ideal.
Yeah, I'm with it.
That would be sick. But yeah, just another thing I was surprised to be surprised about, and like
surprise.
Yeah, just like I feel like I'm saying that about every game, but it's just like every game I didn't expect, and then I was also more excited than I thought I would be about it, and like what a time.
And another update, which I put the blinders on for the entirety of this section because I don't want to see a single new thing anymore, is First Light 007.
Oh yeah.
So I'm gonna day one this game. I am so in it to win it. This is the first time we're ever getting prequel James Bond anything.
For sure, yeah.
So, and they were showing a ton of story stuff. So like I muted my TV. I covered my eyes. I didn't want to see anymore because like
pulling the curtain back a bit. But
I'm sold.
Yeah, I mean it looks like a blast. I mean we talked about it before. It just straight up looks like Uncharted meets like Hitman or like
and
some
it is
stealth.
IO, the makers of Hitman.
Right. And so it's
perfect.
like, so they're going to deliver.
Yeah.
It's going to be exactly that. It's going to slap.
I can't wait. And speaking of rehashing old games from the crypt, Konami is back, baby.
Konami.
My God, Konami came
out
this thing
swinging,
in
dude.
Such a huge way.
Yeah, and like I'm so excited to see it because like I honestly thought like when Kojima left, they stopped making Metal Gear games. Silent Hill just kind of crashed and burned, and they stopped doing Silent Hill. Castlevania kind of just fell off after the 3D era, and they just kind of stopped doing that. Like I thought Konami was just kind of done. Like I thought all Konami was like a shell putting out like Metal Gear remasters, you know, just like kind of making money off of what they could. And then the Sony showcase, and like they started with like, here's Metal Gear Solid Master Collection Volume 2,
right?
And I was like, as expected, right? But then they came out with Castlevania. After 40 years of Castlevania.
Fucking crazy.
Yeah.
A new 2D side-scrolling Metroidvania.
Totally.
Castlevania. Belmont's Curse.
Yeah.
Great name, too.
Yeah, and what I also really enjoyed about it was like they went for like an animated, like hand-drawn look.
Yeah.
And at first I was kind of like, everybody's doing this like now kind of thing. But then they showed cutscenes in it, which are like fully animated, just like the Netflix show. So I was like, this is actually cooler that they did it this way, because now it blends in that same vibe of like the show
Yeah.
and that animation, and they're gonna have cutscenes which will seamlessly blend into the gameplay itself. And I'm like, that's actually really sick.
And it looks so stylish. It looks
Yeah,
so
and it looks like they're
slutty.
adding a lot of like new platforming and mechanics to it to freshen it up, and which makes it look even more fun. Because I feel like earlier Castlevania was just a lot of like attacking and maybe
Slow
jumping and walking
walking,
upstairs and
yeah.
stuff. Where this one, she's bouncing off walls and hook shotting up to things and
Absolutely.
like traversing it. It looks like a hoot.
In a world where Konami is making a brand new Castlevania post Silk Song, it's going to be very interesting stuff, dude.
Sure. I mean, I wouldn't make that comparison at all myself, but I see where you're coming from. That maybe
it's
they have something to like
Probably the
live
greatest
up to.
Metroidvania of all time.
Sure. But I see where you're coming from, that they have like something to live up to or something to be as the true like Castlevania franchise. I think they can do it.
Yeah. At the end of them showing off the Metal Gear games, it kind of segued into Darwin's,
Paradox.
which now has like a nod to some Metal Gear espionage stuff.
Yeah.
And it's like, dude,
crawling
I
around
thought
in a
this game
box.
looked great before. Now it's like
Yeah. So
one of my most anticipated of the year now.
yeah, I'm super excited about this game. Like, and again, it came as a surprise to me because like, so I almost fast forwarded past this one because the title, like I saw the title card of like, a cartoonish octopus and like the big like Darwin's Paradox font and stuff. And I was like, oh, it reminded me of that like Another Crab's Treasure game or whatever that was called.
Yeah,
where,
that like fun underwater Dark Souls game. that I
yeah,
never
where it's
played.
like a kiddish spin on Dark Souls of like
Yeah.
a hermit crab swapping out his shells. And I kind of just, almost brushed it off as like, oh, it's just kind of like a kid skin like game. But I stuck around to watch the trailer a little bit, and I just got more and more invested in it as I watched, because I was like, oh,
Yeah.
wait, this is like kind of like, a Limbo or Inside-esque like narrative side scroller. It looks really cool. Like they put a lot of effort into it. It's not just kind of slapped together. It's very detailed. And then on top of that, it looks like it has some really challenging platforming and puzzle
yeah,
segments.
100%.
And like interesting mechanics that apply to the octopus. Like, he's suction cupping on like barrels to like pull them out of the way. There's like a stealth spot where he ink blots. There's like an eel that comes from the background.
Yeah.
And he ink blots and travels within the blot of the ink so that he can't be seen to get
So
to like the other
good,
side.
So
it looks
good.
awesome. It gave me a lot of like Abe's Odyssey like vibes as well.
Exactly. It's like if Playdead and Oddworld inhabitants people got together and made a very playful,
Like Crash Bandicoot.
yeah,
Kinda
but
game.
side-scrolling
Yeah.
puzzle thing.
Yeah.
It's so sick, dude.
But yeah, I would say Abe's Odyssey, Crash Bandicoot, Inside, Limbo, like
that
all
shit in a
rolled
blender,
up
yeah.
with a little bit of Metal Gear.
yeah, the espionage stuff. So good.
Yeah, it looks awesome. And then on top of that, demo right now today.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Unbelievable, dude. What a
I'm
surprise.
downloading that. Yeah, that looks freaking awesome. And that's like a new original IP from Konami,
Mm-hmm.
which is exciting to see. And then they hit us with another new original IP from Konami, which is Rev Noir.
Yeah.
Which even that I thought looked pretty cool. It gave me like Scarlet Nexus vibes.
It looks
you ever
pretty
messed with
cool.
that?
I wouldn't say it's my cup of tea, but it's
Yeah.
just cool seeing Konami doing something new. too.
Yeah.
Like I haven't seen this kind of thing from them before either, so I'm
Yeah.
here for it.
Yeah, I'm interested. I mean, it's like your typical like anime-esque JRPG kind of stuff, but I love that vibe in those games and stuff. So like I'm interested in it. Like it honestly felt like a mini Konami showcase
Yeah.
inside of the Sony showcase. Like they
Yeah.
came out with so many games.
So
Because on
sick.
top of that, Silent Hill, Townsfall.
Yeah. I don't know how you feel about Townfall, but I'm so excited about this game. And especially, maybe you saw our review of Silent Hill F. I'll leave it in a card right here for you. I wasn't very into that game.
Sure.
Townfall, I think, is going to be a very different story. It looks a lot more grounded. And if you know anything about Silent Hill F, you know exactly what I mean.
Sure.
It looks more modern, in the same ways it's modern like Silent Hill 2 was when it
I
came
was
out.
gonna say it gave me two vibes where it's
Yeah.
like where
Yeah.
like you said, it's very modern, grounded in like a setting that could happen today. And then also it seems to be dealing with those same themes of like the guilt of something he did that's, you know, manifesting into this new Silent Hill area kind of thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, it gave me a lot of Silent Hill 2 vibes
Yeah.
for sure.
And it's first person, which is interesting for Silent Hill.
Yeah.
I think that's going to add so much poop in my pants
Yes.
because first person will do that.
Yeah, gonna be right up in your face.
And we got like this glimpse on what I can only assume is like their version of their own Pyramid Head.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Because, you know, Pyramid Head
He
is
definitely
is,
was giving Pyramid Head.
is James's thing that came from like his psyche, his trauma, his burden. This other new tormenting, chasing Hulk thing looks really fucking cool. It almost had like an axe
Yeah, like
for
an
a
axe
head.
head. Yeah.
Is it called Axe Head? Who knows?
I don't know. But yeah, it gave me like Chainsaw Man vibes.
Yeah, it looks menacing as fuck though. Yeah, I'm just here for it. Konami, man. I hope the games that they showed us are as good as they appear on first glance.
For sure.
Yeah.
I would love to see them come out with like a Bugs Bunny Rampage sequel as well. You know, that'd be really cool, Konami. But yeah, I just honestly felt like I was watching a Konami showcase for a while because they just kept like I expected it to stop after the Metal Gear intro and just be like, "Yep, here's Konami's with, you know, more Metal Gear remasters." And then they were like, "And this, and this, and this, and this."
With the Castlevania thing, dude, I was like, no fucking way.
Yeah,
No
yeah,
fucking way.
didn't expect that.
Yeah, did not expect it
I
at
thought
all.
that ship had sailed, especially since like, you know, the creator of Castlevania is doing the Bloodstained series now.
Yeah.
So yeah, I didn't expect him to come back to it, but good to see.
Yeah.
Then we got another update for Saros.
Which, oh my God.
I mean that.
This is the trailer that sold me on it.
Yeah, I mean,
I won't lie to you.
It-
It looked...
I mean, it's just Returnal.
It's
It's just a
It
souped up.
I was just like, yeah, that looks great.
It's a souped up Returnal.
And I get why they're reiterating and doing another game like Returnal.
Totally.
Because Housemarque, that's like their bread and butter.
Yeah,
And the other trailers before this have looked great, but it's just like, there's just something about it that I guess I got my fill in Returnal.
for sure. I mean it, and like I said, it's just Returnal again, but it's by the game guys that made Returnal, so it, you know, they know what they're doing. But this one, it seems like they took some critiques from the last game, so this one's gonna have like permanent progression, gear upgrades,
Teleporting
some
to
fast
different
travel,
biomes.
yep, fast travel, and then also a central hub.
Yeah.
That you
With
can talk-
characters.
Yeah, with characters. Talk to NPCs,
Yeah.
upgrade your stuff, go for another run kind
Yeah.
of stuff. So it's got a little bit more of the like save your progression kind of rogue style.
Yeah,
rather
which
than
I
just
love.
straight looping.
Like Hades or
Start
something.
from the
I
beginning.
love that stuff.
Yeah,
But it also has that like nightmare mode,
yeah. Which we don't have
looks
to play.
fucking cool.
Yeah.
It just turns the game into like Doom. You know what I mean?
Sure.
It looks rad as hell.
Yeah.
So stylish. This main character looks super cool. Love
See-
the actor.
See,
yeah.
that's where we differ on that one. Is like, that's the thing that's not selling me about the game is that it's almost just like too bland. Like you do have a lot of like fantastical creatures and stuff, but they're just kind of like weird mutated like forms like flying around. And then this guy,
But yeah, this is what I always say though. It's because we're running out of ideas for monsters, Eric.
I know. It's true. But and then like, you know, he's just a guy.
But he looks like a really cool.
I guess he looks like a tough guy.
And he's got a great voice too. He sounds
For
very
sure.
convincing. And
Yeah, no, yeah, for sure. It doesn't look bad by any means. I think I'm just I think I more am drawn to the fantastical, you know, kind of sci-fi or fantasy stuff. When like,
so you
when
want to
it's-
see dragons?
Yeah, I would love to see a dragon.
Fuck you, dude.
But no, but what I mean is just like I think when it gets closer to like more realistic, modern, you know, like Fallout or, you know, stuff, it's just I'm kind of like, yeah, those are people. I really like people. So that's a me thing.
Okay.
For sure. I mean, there is plenty of flair and style in this game. I think just for me personally, that's where it kind of falls short of just like, yeah, another guy with a gun shooting like weird mutated things.
Yeah.
I always wanted to play Returnal. I never got around to it. But like, it seems like I should try this one instead. Oh, you have Returnal as well?
That's
More games for me.
That's 2 games.
So with that brings us to the final announcement of the showcase, which was God of War Trilogy Remake.
With the original voice actor.
The original
who
voice actor
voiced-
back
Yeah.
in action.
Who voiced Kratos.
Yeah, because I think he had some like vocal issues, right? Which is why they switched off him for a bit.
I didn't know that.
I think I could be making that up, but I thought he had some like throat trouble or stuff for a bit. But so I would, if that's true at all, that's why I was excited to see him back. Like, oh, he's back, back to work. He's doing well, and he's gonna take his role back and do the original God of War trilogy again, which is super cool to see.
I wonder if they're going to drip feed it.
Like the 3 games, you mean? Yeah, I don't know. I mean,
Or like remake them all and put them all out together as one like
I wouldn't
master
think.
collection.
Yeah, I mean, considering it's a remake and not a remaster and stuff.
Because we already have a remaster. Yeah.
Yeah, I would expect them to do it one at a time.
Yeah.
Because like they're gonna make the whole game.
And they're going to make a lot of money.
Oh yeah.
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 Let's be real.
So I mean, I personally don't need these games remade. I feel like we've all played the God of War games like multiple times over at this point. So to play it again, I'm kind of like, oh no, I'm good. But I'm curious to see how much of a remake it is, though. Like, are they just revamping the graphics and keeping the same, or do you think they're gonna remake it more in the style of the new God of War games?
No, I think it'll still be isometric camera.
Yeah.
I feel like it has to be.
Does it? Because I'm looking at Rebirth over here.
Oh God. Yeah, well, you
And
know,
it could be fucking
the main
anything.
Square Enix team doesn't have taste anymore, but I think Santa Monica Studio does have taste.
There is that, yeah.
If the time's right, if the price is right, you're our next contestant. Come on down, you know?
Hell yeah. But definitely a huge like way to finish the showcase. And then on top of that
The real way to finish the showcase
was this a prequel side scroller game.
of young Spartan Kratos,
Yeah.
a side-scrolling Metroidvania
Yeah.
God of War.
Yeah.
And it looked really fucking cool.
Yeah. Interesting
Really
art
unique
style.
art style. And they did the thing that I love to see, and I couldn't believe they did it with the last game they showed off. Out now.
Yeah, go get it.
What was it, 30, 40 bucks?
Yeah, I think so. But it's like it's a full game.
Yeah.
It's cool that they did like a pixel style thing, to bring it back because it's like a prequel and stuff like that. I thought that was unique. Like,
Oh, I
interesting
never
thing
thought
to
of it
do.
that way. Interesting.
Yeah, I thought it was an interesting thing to do because all the God of War games have been 3D platforms and stuff.
yeah.
So to see
in their time, respectively, always been like the leader of next gen graphics.
yeah, so,
especially God
so
of War
to see them like
2018.
devolve it a bit and also do a different style like 2D Metroidvania instead is like
awesome.
Oh, cool. All right.
Yeah.
Doing new shit. Let's go.
Yeah, and we never really got to like dive into the Spartan nature of Kratos
Yeah.
because it's either the Greek mythology
Mm-hmm.
or the Nordic ones with the last 2 games.
Yeah.
And we know he is a Spartan, but we never got to like dive into that more.
Yeah. So like
So this
how
is great.
we got there. Yeah. So now I'd just like to take the time to take a look at Nintendo's last showcase earlier this February. I don't know what Nintendo's doing here. It seems like they literally like flipped cruise control on and they're just like, oh yeah, like you guys like the Switch. We just kind of tuned that up for you. So you got a better Switch and now you can just go play the games that you couldn't play before on it. Have fun. Like what the hell? So so we just had 28 announcements from Sony, right? 21 of those being completely new, new announcements and not updates from games we already knew about. And then you come over to Nintendo, which has 22 announcements to make. Half of those, 11 of those are old 4-year-old, 5-year-old ports like Oblivion, and Captain Tsubasa 2, Tales of Arise, like just old games.
Yeah.
Finally being ported to the Switch that like everybody's already played on PlayStation or Xbox, whatever the hell. So now you're already cut in half. So forget those games. Who cares? Now you have 11 announcements. Oh, wait. 5 of those are just updates on games that we already knew about.
Including Resident Evil 9.
Like Resident Evil 9 and Pragmata, which were part of the Sony showcase. Scott Pilgrim X, which we've been hearing about. Adventures of Elliot, which is awesome. We got a release date.
That was great. That was great.
Got a release date for it, but again, we already had a demo and announcement, and got our fill. An update for Orbitals. That's the only cool one I think here is Orbitals, which is a Nintendo exclusive.
Game looks great.
Game looks awesome. It's just oozing style with that like 90s anime look, and it's like It Takes Two.
Or a split fiction,
it looks like you're just living in a cartoon. It's just like my shit. So their actual announcement come down to 6 games of like new Nintendo Switch announcements for 6 games. Now, not only are these completely uninteresting games like Turok Origins.
What do you mean? Don't you think we need Turok Origins?
And like WWE.
A hero shooter Turok game?
And like WWE 2K6.
What do you mean?
Just a yearly release sports game that like you already know is coming out, but now it's on Switch. But like all 6 of these games are multi-console games.
Yeah.
So we're not even talking like Switch exclusive announcements or anything. It's just like, oh yeah, here comes Monster Hunter Stories 3. Just like everybody else has. Great. So the only thing that the Switch showcase brought to us was another Eden, which cool, but it's a mobile port. So it's not even, again, it's years old. It's a port. It's not a new game. It's not exclusive to the Switch. It's on Steam and also on mobile currently. So, I mean, it's sick that like it's creator of Chrono Cross and Chrono Trigger, right? Making a new game, and now you get to experience on console without all the gotcha like BS and stuff. So that's cool. But like, did you really come out here with your big partner showcase and your big announcement was that you got a mobile game port?
But it is a partner showcase.
Yeah.
After all.
Okay, so you want to talk about what Nintendo has to show? Mario Tennis? Which just looks like the last Mario Tennis with more characters and like goofy shit added onto it.
And Your Honor, may I ask, of the 2 companies, Sony and Nintendo, which of the 2 just dropped a brand new console?
The Nintendo Switch 2.
I rest my case and yield my time.
Right, so they should have way more to talk about. And they're out here telling me about how they now have a Switch 2 edition of Hollow Knight? Are you kidding me?
The game already ran at HD, like 60 frames per second, maybe even 120 on Switch 2.
Not to mention Silk Song just came out, so
Like,
it's
why
not
do we
even,
need-
we're not even talking about
Hollow
Silk
Knight
Song.
is fucking perfect, dude.
Like, we're talking about the old fucking game. It's hand drawn, so like I don't know with how much different the Switch 2 edition could even be. Like, it's already a game that runs completely fine, and like you can't enhance the graphics. It's drawn. Like, what the fuck? What are you doing? Like, maybe some lighting effects, I guess, but like they really came out here to tell us about PGA Tour 2K25, not 26, Clinton.
Oh, it's 2.5?
2.5.
That's
It
hilarious.
was last year's game.
Yeah.
It's ported.
Yeah.
Great. Thanks. Thanks, Nintendo.
So I guess if you look at it through a lens of if you only have a Switch.
I guess, yeah. Now you can play Goat Simulator 3 that came out in like 2015 or some shit. Like, and also don't worry, now there's a Switch 2 edition of Disney Dreamlight Valley. Thank God.
Wow.
But yeah, I just, I don't want to spend a lot of time on it, but I just wanted to point out like
What are they doing?
Look at this Sony showcase for this console we've had out for years now.
Yeah.
And then the Switch 2, which has only been out for less than a year. We're talking about PGA Tour 2K25.
It's just incredible when you zoom back camera Sony, in a lot of ways, like present day Nintendo, has a lot of shit going. You know, like Nintendo is not just games anymore. It's a cinematic universe, and it is the theme parks.
Yeah.
Sony, much the same. They've always been a multi-entertainment and hardware company.
They
and now they have their
tons of movies.
They have their
tons of
cinematic
equipment,
universe, especially the Spider-Man movies.
Yep.
And it's widely known that they have basically canceled 10 to a dozen live service games, but that was their huge push. That was their first party plan for PS5.
Yeah.
Since they canceled those, we all assumed like, yo, this generation on PS5
it's gonna
is
be quiet.
cooked.
Yeah.
It's cooked.
It's going to be quiet for a bit.
But for them to come out with a showcase like this and Nintendo to still have nothing 6 months after the Switch 2 is out, come on, dude. And I know, watch. As soon as we publish this video, Nintendo Switch is probably going to have a fucking direct out, and it's probably going to be incredible.
Hey, I hope
and
so.
I welcome that, obviously,
I hope so, but like,
because that's all we want.
Yeah, I hope so, but I think it's more just that like we looked at the Switch 2 the wrong way, and that Nintendo was just like, hey, here's an upgrade. You know, keep doing your thing. And it wasn't like, hey, here's a new console, here's our new campaign and for our plans for new games. It was more just, here's an upgrade to your hardware, and you know, here's a couple of games, and now you can play all these other games on it that you couldn't before. And it's
I still
that's
fully
lame.
stand by what I said in a previous episode, that I was really excited that they didn't try to reinvent the wheel with Switch 2, because I thought they could put aside all of the R&D and bandwidth of this company and finance to reinvent the hardware to put into, now they could really blow the door open with software. When this console drops, like, what kind of games are we going to get, dude? And just didn't see that at all.
No, and I think what's misleading is the number 2.
Yeah.
If they had just called this the Nintendo Switch Pro, or, you know, whatever, like just so that you knew it was an upgrade and not a new console, it would, you know, your mindset would have been completely different of like, oh, all right, this is just an upgrade. So all these ports would have been expected, and you wouldn't have expected like, oh, where's the new Mario, you know?
Yeah.
But because they called it the Switch 2, it made it feel like a new console, like the PS5, PS4, you know? It made it feel like a new console. Okay, where's the new Mario? Like, what's up?
Yeah. Well, the new Mario is deceivingly called Donkey Kong Bonanza.
I don't want to get into Donkey Kong, but yeah, just want to take a moment to show you how different these showcases went and how excited we are about Sony right now and all these fantastic new games on the horizon for mostly 2026. There was only a couple of those that were like 2027 looking out.
Kooky.
So it's like, these are all games coming very soon.
Yeah.
Yeah, so let us know what you were excited about, what games you were pumped to see, what you didn't expect, or let us know what you hated to see. I don't care. We love talking to you, so just let us know. Or if you have any thoughts on Nintendo and what the hell they're doing, or if it doesn't bother you at all, let us know, because it bothers me. Let's talk about it.